Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Oh Premanandi. All glories to this symbol. All glories to this symbol. All glories to this symbol. All glories to Guru Shivaranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Thank you all very much for being here today. Celebrate our Sunday Love Feast. So today we're reading from verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and particularly certain verses that actually glorify the importance of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, or at least one particular verse, and trying to understand how, by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, all the things that are troubling our hearts, and I think I'm probably alone with this. I'm probably the only person that has troubles in the heart. But if you do have troubles in your heart, and if you're able to identify them, the problem is they're there, but we don't know how to identify them. Sometimes, we think the troubles are just, just normal. It should just be that way. We get used to things in a certain way. But we have to learn how to identify those things which are troubling us and causing us to be distracted from devotional service. And there are lots of them. We won't have time to get into all of that. But the idea is that there's a way in which we can remove all those things from our hearts. And that's described here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm beginning with chapter 2 of the first canto, and a few verses I'll read, and then 2 verses we'll talk about in a little bit of detail. Atat pumbirjija shrestha varnashrama vibhagdasha swanushpitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Translation, O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation, according to the caste divisions and orders of life, is to please the personality of Godhead. Text number 14. Tasmadipena manasa bhagavan sattvatam pati shotavya kirtitavyascha jaya pujascha nityada. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is a protector of the devotees. Text number 15. Yaranudyasana yukta karma grantina bandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona guryat gataratim. With sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to this message? Text number 16. Now this is, I have great difficulty pronouncing the first word of this verse. Shu shu sho shodananasya vasudeva kata ruchi shan mahat sevaya vipra punya tirtana sevana. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. Very extensive purport. Text number 17. Most of you might know this one. Srinvata swakata Krishna punya shavana kirtana Ridyanta Swasvadrani Vidunoti Suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma Supersoul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. We're going to come back and read a little bit of that purport. Text 18. Nasta praisya bhadreshu nityam bhagavati sevaya bhagavati mastoke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service into the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. And we'll read that verse as well. Tadara justamo bhava kamalo bhadayasche chetaitar anabidam stittam sadve prasiddhati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance such as lust, desire, and hankering disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes completely happy. we'd all like to be happy in Krishna consciousness. Evam prasana manaso bhagavat bhakti yogatha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus established in the mode of an unalloyed witness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive, scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Text 21. Vidyate hridaya grantis chijante sarva samsaya chiyante chashta karmani drishta evatmanishvare. Thus, the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. Text 22. Ato vai kavayo nityam bhaktim paramaya muga vasudeve bhagavati kurvantyatma prasadanam. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists, all of you, have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlightening to the self. Sattvatam rajastama iti prakriti gunastaya yukta para parasya eka yuhasya date stidyadaye hari virinchi hareti samya shreyamsi tatra kalu sattva tanorninam shu. The transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the three qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the quality of goodness. I believe that's the last one. Yes. So we'll go back and look at text 17 and 18. Nothing replaces a book. These things are so slow. Is everybody okay? Yes or no? Or are you just hungry? We'll have to shot them soon, don't worry. I won't go past the time. Okay. So in the first one we're going to look at, Srimvatam Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravan Kirtan, Rudyantas Dolya Bhadrani, Vidunoti Siddham. And the Prabhu says in the purport, because I already read the translation, messages of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are none different from him. Point number one. So how do we understand that? Messages of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are none different from him. Let's look at it from the perspective of Supreme Personality of Godhead and what that means. If we can expand our consciousness a little bit. What does that mean, Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Unlimited knowledge.
Unlimited knowledge.
And what complements his knowledge so that his senses.
Absolutely perfect, beyond our ability to really comprehend. As Prabhupada says, that from which everything has emanated, so many big accolades. So if we say that the messages of the personality of Godhead are none different from him, then whatever can be derived from going back to Godhead, which we're all kind of hoping we can do, right? We're not too comfortable here. Yes? We shouldn't be too comfortable here. Actually, we should have a healthy, pessimistic view about birth, death, old age, and disease. Don't become comfortable with it. It should be like an inspiration to get busy. The fact that at any moment, our lives could be finished. I was telling a young man recently in Atlanta, he's a young music producer, my son's friend. And I said, I've been trying to write a song for the last 25 to 30 years, and I can't write it.
because I'm afraid to write it because it's like a little scary to me. The idea of this song is called The Last Sunset. And in my mind, I'm conceiving of this could be the last sunset. Sunsets are beautiful, yes, really nice ambiance, and the end of the day, it's a little bit cool. But suppose it was the last one. That would be very difficult. Our time is not guaranteed. Time and tide wait for no man. Prabhupada used to quote that. 1 second you cannot buy. Suppose you're on the deathbed and you're a billionaire, like some people that we've heard of. Even like Steve Jobs, who actually was favorable to Krishna consciousness. Yeah, but all the money in the world could not buy him any more time. I'm sure he wanted some more time so he could do another, iPad or iPhone release with all the fanfare, but he couldn't. So we don't have that capacity. But what we do have is the capacity to hear. You recently went through the whole process. Was it 9 processes of devotion service, or was it 13? 9. Just check it. You had all those classes, so you should know it was 9. What are those 9 processes? The winner gets nice prashad. Says prabhu. 9 processes of devotion service. Yes, it's from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Balabhadra, he gave us that. Ah, thank you, Lord. But it begins with these 2. We have 1 of these and 2 of these. That means twice as much of this and half as much of that. Hearing is the beginning. But what will inspire us to hear? Maybe if I chastise everybody, you are a rascal. You must hear. Otherwise, blah, 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 blah. Some devotees have tried that. Like, shame you into hearing. Not a good idea. Desperately.
It's about Krishna, it's attractive.
We're going to get to that. That's very important. It's all attractive. Because everything we can find in the personality of Godhead is in hearing. I'll read it again. Messages of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are none different from him. We just said, Krishna is all attractive. So what does that make the Bhagavatam?
All attractive.
All attractive. But we find sometimes, and I know for myself personally, we find sometimes it doesn't have that effect on us, where it's all attractive because we are attracted to other things and we allow ourselves to be distracted by other things. And the Bhagavatam sits there for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months. I met this young lady in Atlanta at a book fair. She's Muslim, very nice young lady, university student. And she told me a story that really shocked me. She said, "Oh, I've seen these books before. When I was in some Romania or Tasmania or Transylvania," I forget what she said it was, one of those foreign places. She said, "I was at a bar one night." I thought, first of all, you're a Muslim girl. What are you doing at a bar? Anyway, so she said, "I was at this bar with some friends. I came out, and in the garbage was one of your books. And I took it from the garbage, and I started to read it. I was like, wow. I said, I'm so fortunate to be standing in front of you. That's pretty interesting." So sometimes the Bhagavatam will sit on our shelves, and we'll look at them and say, they're very beautiful. That's why it's time to make some beautiful covers to attract you. So we see the beautiful covers, and we walk right by them, because we have to go to work, we have to go to school, we got to feed our children, we got to take care of our bodies. Yes, it's just part of life. And the Bhagavatam just sort of sits there. And then a few months later, we think, you know what, I haven't read the Bhagavatam. But then what happens is, we're stressed out about life. And then we start saying it's because of this, it's because of that, and it's because of that. And the reality is because you haven't picked up that Bhagavatam today. When I was a young brahmachari, I was fortunate to be a brahmachari for about 8 years. So I was really in distress one time, super distressed, as brahmacharis sometimes are, right before they get married. Sometimes they get really into distress, so I was right before marriage. So I was like freaking out, what to do? And my temple president, His Grace Balabhadra Prabhu, my dear mentor, he said, "Prabhu, Balabhadra, don't you remember? Go read the Bhagavatam." And I said, I knew you would say that. And I did what he told me. I just read the Bhagavatam. And all of my troubles started to fall away. I could see more clear. It's like when we were young, back in the old music days, there was a song, I can see clearly now. You know what I mean? So I was able to see a little more clear because of the Bhagavatam. And I felt some pain or weight being lifted. So that's an advertisement for the Bhagavatam. That if you're going through anything, any problem, any trouble, any distraction that's causing you not to be focused, like one of the verses said, with one pointed attention. It's extremely important because Krishna says the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. Was it Eke Hakudananda? One pointed attention. You cannot be happy unless you have a focus in your life. Prabhupada also just talks about that. The mind will never be peaceful until it has a final goal to say, that's what I'm going to do. Until you have totally decided that Krishna consciousness is what you want, you will always have problems. I can promise you that. Within the context of our movement. I'm not saying for everybody in the world right now at this moment. But all of us who are trying to practice Krishna consciousness, we have to decide, am I going to do this? Am I going to really do this? Now, in order to have that enthusiasm to do it, you have to have some taste. Because to think you can continue doing this without taste is very difficult. And what is that taste we're looking for? What is that first verse of the Shastaka? Who knows that verse? Cheto Darpanam Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagninavarpanam Shreya Kainava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratibadam Purnamitasaranam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. So translation? All glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life and repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large, and it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It's the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to taste the nectar that we're hankering for. It's right there in front of us. The Sankirtan movement is the source of our happiness. How much do we participate in that movement? That's the question. It's contingent upon how much we, understand how we're suffering. I heard a funny story. I'll tell it real briefly. The story is about this man sitting on his porch in the country. And a salesman comes up on the porch. And the man has a dog. And the dog is sitting next to the man. And the dog is making a sound like, oh, dogs, It's a hound dog. So, oh. And the salesman asked the man, what's wrong with him? Well, he's sitting on a nail. Why won't he get up? Well, he's too lazy. He's sitting on a nail, he's suffering, but he won't get up. And we're suffering, but we won't do what will help us. I'm not trying to indict all of us. Please don't get the wrong impression. I'm not trying to say that I am doing all the good stuff and you're all, not doing it. I'm telling you from my experience that my suffering in Krishna consciousness pretty much has always been because I slacked up in the practice, either chanting or reading or associating with devotees. You don't want to cut down association with devotees, you want to increase, because based on the quality of the devotee, which is the verse that we read here, you can get the attraction for hearing about Krishna, which is the main thing, as they say in the business world. The main thing is the main thing. Don't ever forget it, yeah. Main thing is the main thing. Like when you go to work every day, what's the main thing? Whatever, your job dictates. Don't go to work all spaced out, you might get fired. The main thing is the main thing. So in Krishna consciousness, what is the main thing? Who can say it?
Chanting the holy names.
Say it loudly. Huh?
To love Krishna.
To love Krishna. How do we get to the point of loving Krishna? Because when you walk in that door, you ain't loving Krishna yet. Excuse my French.
Well, we are always loving Krishna.
Huh?
You make double of things, so you
Yes.
love Krishna. That's why.
It's just like in the movie The Wizard of Oz. I'm sure some of you have seen the movie Wizard of Oz. Don't be shy to say it. So when they told Dorothy how to get to the Emerald City, they said, well, you start with the yellow brick road. Where do I start? Well, it's best to start at the beginning. So she started at the beginning and she followed it and ended up at Emerald City. So the beginning of Krishna consciousness is, we talked about it, hearing. But you have to be motivated. It's like when you get on the airplane and the stewardesses, they do that little thing with the, with the thing they put over the top and the little breather. And they tell you to be prepared just in case the plane's going to fall. That's not too assuring, is it? You get on the plane and tell you the thing might fall, you might drown, so you need one of these. And you do it like that, I say, oh God, and the seatbelt goes here. It helps you stand. But it motivates you. And most people don't look at those stewardesses, right? Because you're all busy on your iPads, iPods, phones, and whatever. And she's trying to show you something that might be beneficial for you, but you're not paying attention until the plane shakes. And then everybody gets, oh my God. I was riding with a lady one day, and when the plane took off, she didn't know me from anybody. She said, can I just hang onto your shoulder? She was so scared. I said, okay, I guess so. I don't know you, but... And then when we got up in the air and the plane was a little bit level, she was a little bit more comfortable. So here, sometimes we're not motivated because we don't remember the dangerous position that we're in. There's a nice song like Kamala Dala Jala, Jimala Talamala, like water on a lotus leaf. Has anyone ever felt a lotus leaf? They're very smooth and very nice. So you put water on there, it's bound to fall off. So our life has been described like water on a lotus leaf. At any moment we could fall off. But we're comfortably sitting here in this material world and not motivated to do what's best for us. So just the very first sentence of this purport. Messages of the personality of God, Shri Krishna, are not different from him. That should be a major motivator for us. I mean, not everyone in this room is a second initiated ISKCON devotee. So you can't go on the altar and go close to Shri Radha Sarati Hari. Like some of the Brahmanas can go and bathe them, and dress them, and see Radharani's lotus feet every day. And I mean, whoever is able to do that, please mark down how fortunate you are. Because everyone in this room cannot go there and do that. Some of you might be hankering to do that. You should be, to see the deity, the beautiful face, and everything. We're not qualified necessarily to do it. Yes? But the messages of the personality of Godhead are what? How many times do I have to read it? They are none different. None different from who? Radha Sarati Hari. Yes or no? Yes. So you have the Krishna in your home. If you don't have the Bhagavatam in your home, where's Ramcharan? There he is. You can see him. And if he doesn't have it in the book warehouse, he can order for you a whole set. How many books are in the set now? 18 volumes in your home. Vibrating, calling out, read me, read me, read me. So you can be happy. But if you don't have them, then you're depriving yourself of a big source of happiness. Srimad Bhagavatam. And then every day we should read them. The question becomes, why should we read the Srimad Bhagavatam? Who has an answer? Why should we read the Srimad Bhagavatam? Don't be shy. Gravity. Why should we read the Srimad Bhagavatam? Speak up. See, that's one of the reasons, so I can learn to love Krishna. But another aspect is, Jagannath Priya, why should we read the Srimad Bhagavatam? It's none different from, I want to be with Krishna. I'm really tired of this material world and all the nonsense. All I have to do is turn on the TV, and there it is again. Nonsense, channel 44. Nonsense, channel 64. Nonsense. Turn any channel you want. It's just nonsense. You know, it's funny, when I first got involved in the movement, I was a follower of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Yeah. So it was like 1971. And the funny thing was, I went to see him when he came to Atlanta. Paid a little bit of money. I was aspiring to be his disciple. I loved all the stuff they were talking about. It was real mystical. But then when I saw him, I was very disappointed because the philosophy somehow didn't work for me. And funny thing was, that weekend they had him on the television because he was visiting Atlanta. So I tried to watch him I was just bored. I turned to channel nonsense, and guess who was there? Balabhadra prabhu. Because he was running for mayor of Atlanta, so they had him on the TVs. I don't know why it happened that way. Turned off Maharishi, turned on Krishna consciousness. So that nonsense channel became a good channel. Because I heard from a devotee. Very sweet. So we have this with us. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, founder of Charya Viskan, gave his life to prepare the Srimad Bhagavatam. But guess what? He was not able to complete the entire Bhagavatam. There's how many cantos? How many? 12 cantos. He only completed part of the 10th canto, from 1 to part of the 10th canto. So he was constantly working on that. If you have ever seen the movie of Prabhupada's Last Days, it's actually part of Your Ever Well Wisher. Very wonderful movie. And by the way, our dear Yadubar Prabhu and his wife Vishaka, they just received the high about Prabhupada. His con is on the move, yes. It's playing, I think, this weekend, isn't it? Some tickets were available. Someone texted me this morning. Tickets are available. Come see the movie.
Where, New York?
New York, but they played some other place. So Prabhupada in this movie, Your Ever Well Wisher, the scene where Prabhupada is lying in his bed the last days of his life, and they have a little microphone. Prabhupada always uses like dictaphone. So they had a little microphone next to Prabhupada's mouth. I believe Jadvaita Maharaj is holding it. And Prabhupada's body is draped to here. Nothing is moving. Hands are not moving. Mouth is almost not moving. Nothing is moving. And what does Prabhupada say? Everything is acting and moving by the arrangement of the Supreme, this consciousness, this Krishna consciousness. And I'm looking on, in that condition, he's still giving us Srimad Bhagavatam. How important it was to him. When he first came to America, when he got on the boat, and the boat stopped in, I forget which place was that, he picked up his Bhagavatams?
Cochin.
Cochin. Cochin. How do you pronounce it?
Cochin.
Cochin. And Prabhupada was so happy. Finally, he had his Bhagavatams. In order to get those Bhagavatams, Prabhupada had to suffer. One time he was walking in Delhi and he had a heat stroke. And some people thought he was intoxicated. Because when you get a heat stroke, you lose orientation, you get dizzy. I remember His Grace, His Holiness, Hridayananda Maharaj was describing this incident. He said Prabhupada was having heat strokes just to get over here to give us Krishna consciousness. What are we willing to do? He was willing to die for this. We should at least be willing to spend a majority of our time, free time, because I know we're all busy, work, family, all that. The majority of our free time should be spent doing what? Keeping up with Donald Trump. No. And I'm not accusing any of you, because I look at the news as well. CNN, whatever. But I make sure, Mother Subhadra can vouch for me on this, I make sure to read the Bhagavatam every day. One day goes by, I have to beat myself with a shoe 100 times. You rascal Balabhadra, you didn't? So before I fall asleep, at least one verse. You have to do it as an offering of respect to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, for the work that he did to prepare it for us. And then, so now, on an individual basis, all that is troublesome to the heart. So let's go to the next verse. Because I don't want to get too deep into this one, but there's a lot there. And we don't have a lot of time, but the next verse, Nasta Praisu Badresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Dhamma Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Astiki. This one says, now please don't get the wrong impression when you hear it. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the true devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transitive songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. And then Prabhupada says so nicely in the purport, here is the remedy for eliminating all inauspicious things within the heart, which are considered to be obstacles on the path of self-realization. In the path, The remedy is the association of the Bhagavatas. And I did a little bit of extra reading about Bhagavatas because here it's saying Bhagavatas, in the translation it's saying pure devotee, and in many places it says Maha Bhagavata. So bear with me, I'm going to speak in terms of the Maha Bhagavatas. Same as Bhagavata, same as pure devotee. The remedy is the association of the Bhagavatas. Now that poses a little bit of, for me personally, a little bit of I have to think about this. You know, how we consider ourselves and how we consider others. If I look at you and I'm saying you're a Bhagavata, or I'm looking at myself thinking I'm a Bhagavata, well, what is a Bhagavata? That's a very important thing. What constitutes a Bhagavata? Mahabhagavata. Pure devotee. There are many, many symptoms of a pure devotee. And most of us have some of them. A lot of them in some cases. How many qualities of a devotee are there? 26. You know that verse? What is the verse? He's a young man. His brain, somehow the brain gets slow sometimes. If you give me the first word, I can remember.
It's Kripalu Akrita Droha Satyasarasama.
Not that one, the other one.
The 26 qualities.
Yeah, but that's a different one. There's another verse that has the 26 qualities. But say the one you know.
This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kripalu Akrita Droha Satyasarasama.
Yeah.
Nidosha Vadanya Mrudu Suchi Akinchana. Sarvopakaraka Krishneka Sarana Akama Aneha Sthira Vijita Shadguna. Apramatta Manada Amani. Kambhira Karuna Maitra Kavilakshama.
Very nice one, though. But there's a Bhagavatam verse also, but I can't think of it right now. If anyone knows it, help me out. But there are 26 qualities of a devotee. And most of us have some of those qualities. But to have them in full, to be a pure devotee, is not an ordinary thing. What does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Mahatmanas tumam partha bhaivim prakritim ashri. That very rare, great souls are very rare under the protection of the divine energy. Very rare. So it's saying here about the Bhagavatas. The remedy is the association of the Bhagavatas. There are two types of Bhagavatas. Pay attention. Namely, the book Bhagavata and the devotee Bhagavata. Both the Bhagavatas are competent remedies. And both of them, or either of them, can be good enough to eliminate the obstacles. So we'll just talk about that part. Book Bhagavata means?
Bhagavatam.
You got that? You're all too shy, you know? Book Bhagavata means which book?
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Of course. What about Bhagavad Gita? Is it not different from Krishna?
It
Does
is.
it describe the glories of Krishna? Yes or no?
Yes.
Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yes.
Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. The list goes on of the books that glorify Krishna. Krishna book. Who all has a Krishna book? Read it every day. It's great. It's fantastic. Wonderful pastime. So, either one, both of them or either one, are suitable remedies for our malady, our suffering condition. Kaivalya Prabhu, you're a doctor. Someone comes in your office, you have the skills, you can diagnose, give the medicine, slap them around a little bit, send them out the door, now you're better. Go. And you know what it is. Like Prabhupada talks about the Ayurvedic doctor. Just by touching your vein and looking at your tongue and asking one or two questions, is this the problem? Is this the problem? Yes. Then he gives you the medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. So Prabhupada just diagnosed our condition and just gave us the remedy. And just like in most cases, we don't like to go to the doctor. And in many cases, we don't follow what the doctor tells us to do, and then we complain about suffering. That is our condition in this world. Prabhupada has given us the diagnosis. He's looked at our condition in the material world. When he came to America, he wrote one poem. And in the poem he said, most of the people here are in ignorance and passion, forgetting you. Therefore, my Lord, I pray that you make my words suitable for their understanding. He analyzed by seeing the Boston Pier. He could see this place is full of ignorance. It's a big deal I have to work with here. Of course, he came from Calcutta. Calcutta is also similarly kind of like that. But seeing the Boston Pier and then going to New York seeing all that stuff, Prabhupada realized this place is full of ignorance. And the ignorance is forgetting you. They've done all of this, forgetting you. When he came to Atlanta, they took him to Piedmont Park, a very famous park in Atlanta. And from Piedmont Park, you can see downtown, which is a few miles away. Nice, gleaming skyscrapers. And Srila Prabhupada pointed at the skyscrapers of Atlanta. He told Balabhadra and all those devotees, one day it will all be finished. And they were like, shocked. These big buildings, one day will all be finished. Don't be too proud. So that is our situation. We're so attached to this world. Sometimes we're not motivated to do what's best for us, which is hear the glories of the Lord. But if we scientifically, which is another verse here, what's the first purpose of this time? To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge. That's part of our mission. Systematically understand what it is we're doing. Otherwise, the tendency will be to slow down on the process because we haven't invested enough time to systematically understand what this is. Starting with what we read earlier from the other verse, 17, that messages of the personality of Godhead are none different from Him. And either the person Bhagavat or the book Bhagavat are competent remedies for our situation. So we have to be enthusiastic about that. But we also have to be intelligent. Prabhupada, in several places I was reading, talks about the three classes of devotees. Number one, or the lowest class, is called the Kanishta Adhikari. What does that mean? Kanishta Adhikari, who knows? Neophyte devotee means what?
One who considers only himself to be the devotee, but
Yeah.
he doesn't know how to respect others.
Yeah, mostly, self-pride and all those kinds of things. I am the best devotee. Like generally when people first come to the movement, they kind of think they're like really hot shots, I'm this, I'm that, There was two devotees when I joined, they're very wonderful American kids. And the one girl said to the guy, you know what? I think I'm a pure devotee. This is a true story. And the guy looked at her and went, you know what? I think I'm a pure devotee too. And I'm sitting there looking, you guys just came off the streets of Atlanta. What are you talking about? Because they were just misunderstood. They were reading about a pure devotee. So I guess I'm a pure devotee. I guess I am too. Luckily, we had good trainers. His Grace Balabhadra Prabhu, and especially one devotee from New York, Bahujra Das. Bahujra Das. Vishnu, you might remember him, Bahujra Das, amazing devotee. He was our temple commander, and he really guided us away from misunderstandings. Just like when I first started playing with Danda, I used to play like that. And Bahujra slapped my hand and said, no, you have to play like that. And he showed me the Prabhupada beat. From that day on, I followed it very religiously. So, who do we associate with? So the neophyte devotee, you can associate, but be careful, because you won't be able to learn too much, because their level of understanding is not that much. And if you're not careful, they might lead you down the path of thinking, you're special, you're this, you're that, when in reality, we shouldn't go down that road. Trinada Pisanitena, Tadora Pisavistana, Amanina Manidena, Kirtanaya Sadara. We should be humble as a blade of grass, thinking like that. So then the next devotee is the Madhyamadikari. What's his symptoms? He knows the personality of Godhead. Yeah. For those of us who don't know that much Sanskrit or Bengali, please translate.
One who loves Krishna,
Yes.
has love for Krishna, and he has friendship with the devotees,
Yes.
makes friends with the devotees, shows compassion to the innocent,
And avoids.
the offenders.
Yeah, so he's smart enough to know who the devotees are, who the demons are, loves Krishna. But then the best devotee is the one that this verse is talking about. Bhagavata, Uttamadikari, Mahabhagavata. So what is it, Uttamadikari?
Uttamadikari is one who sees Krishna in everyone's heart,
Everywhere.
and sees, and he doesn't see the body, but sees the
So,
soul and the soul.
yeah. And, let me see if I have your ears. If you want, you can hold them up so I can make sure I have them. The Uttamadikari thinks him or herself to be the lowest devotee. Everyone is serving nicely but me. Now, if you find yourself in that dilemma where you're thinking, I'm doing better than her or him, then you have a ways to go, or we have a ways to go. When we get there, we'll start thinking everyone is serving so much better than me. I wish I could serve like that. I wish I could follow the footsteps of this devotee, that devotee, and serve more. Like Jayananda Das Thakur, the great disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Whoever came into his company just wanted to serve because that's all he ever did. Jayapataka Maharaj was just telling us the story in Atlanta for our Rath Yatra, how he first came to the movement and met Jayananda Das Thakur. And Jayananda Das Thakur, the moment he met him, gave him some work. I think he gave him a hammer or something. Oh, he told the story about the hammer and the nail. Very interesting story. And Jayananda Das Thakur, he showed Jayapataka Maharaj how to hit the nail in a very special way. And Maharaj was crying when he was thinking about how he learned that, how to hit the nail to make the Rath Yatra cart. And he was trying this little, because he's a little bit not mobile too much, but he was trying to show us how he hit the nail so nicely. And that was like the beginning of his spiritual life, to the point now that he's a sannyasi, ISKCON guru, and all those things, GBC, just by hitting the nail, making the Rath Yatra cart. So that is the wonderful nature of this movement. By making advancement, so my overall point would be, our problems are based on our lack of spiritual understanding. You name me any problem that we're going through as an individual, as a family, as devotees, as a whole group, as a whole movement, you can trace it back. Because the remedy is one thing. Hearing the glories of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. But you have to chant in a particular way. There's no time, place, or circumstance, but the third verse of the Shastakam tells us how to chant. One should chant the holy name of, and it's very specific, one should chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind. Prabhupada defines humility in the Bhagavad Gita as not being anxious for the satisfaction of being honored by others. That's humility. So in that mood we have to chant. Thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street, void of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer respect to others, not expecting for ourselves. In that state we can chant nicely. So that is our goal, to chant the holy names of the Lord, spend the majority, especially of our free time. We all have some. Don't look at me and act like you don't. You definitely have some time. We have some time. But sometimes we don't have interest. The Bhagavatam just told us how to get the interest. Who remembers what the Bhagavatam said to get the affinity to hear the message? The motivation. What did the Bhagavatam say? Serving the Vaishnavas. Especially those Vaishnavas who have no negativity in the heart. Now don't walk around trying to see if the devotee has negativity in the heart. Then you become a criticizer, fault finder. Don't do that. But just try to associate with devotees who inspire you to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. And then our lives will be perfect. And as Prabhupada would always say, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any one question or anything? Anyone? Okay. So just to finish up, I have just a small announcement. I know there's some other announcements. I'm just going to make a real brief announcement. And if you're interested, you can approach some of the devotees who are involved in your temple. First, just let me say, from my heart, I'll say to all of you, how inspired I am by this temple and this community. And specifically for the last year and a half, your temple has been organized and managed without a full-time temple president. I'm identified as your corporate president, and that just means I have the responsibility to signing documents and helping the temple on different levels. Of course, I have a few more things. And I'm also chairman of your board, by the grace of the Lord, serving this community. But there's a group of devotees that I am personally indebted to. And we identify them as the temple management team. And there are many devotees sitting in this room who are part of that. Without a temple president, physically here, which is the normal standard of Prabhupada's temples, your temple has done amazing things. Just look outside. How much have we spent already for the construction? $500,000? Without a temple president. That's incredible. You had Rath Yatra last year, right? I was there because the prasadam was so good I haven't forgotten about it yet. You have the best prasadam at Rath Yatra. I'm just telling you, it's the best in the world that I've ever seen. And the way you organize it, have you missed a Sunday feast? No. You've had Sunday feasts without any, particular person as a leader. So I'm indebted to the management team specifically for the work that you have done, struggling, fighting and arguing and trying to make it all work to keep this temple going. So we should give them a little appreciation. So just so you know, this information about the structure of the management of the temple is going to be outside. I'm not going to go into great detail. It will be outside on the bulletin board. It will also be put on your website. But some people have questions about how the temple is managed. Real briefly, you have a GBC, and you've met him. You know who he is, Anuttamadas, right? Just under him, you have a board of directors. Many of the board members are here. Kaivalya, myself, Jagannath Priya is our secretary. So we have a really nice group. And then under that is the president. Of course, I said I'm the corporate president, but in the future, hopefully you'll have a full-time president living here. Then we have this management team. Within the management team, we have the finance team, and many, many things are there. So together, we're trying our best to push this temple forward, only with your support. You understand? I read a book once when I was temple president in Atlanta. It so much inspired me. The book said, it was a book on how to build a church, because I was researching fundraising. And that book said a very powerful thing. The church is built from the blood, sweat, and tears of the congregation. Don't ever forget that. Like say, I'm so-called president, we have board members. What money do we have? What resources we have? Without your support, which is like, doesn't make any sense. So all of you together have done amazing things, and you will do more and more amazing things, and whatever little bit that I can do to support you in any way, maybe I can just come to your house and eat cheesecake. I don't know, maybe that'll inspire you. But whatever little bit I can do to help, I offer my service to you. And thank you all so much for your support of the temple going forward. And as I said, there's a very extensive, directory that His Grace Murli Rangaprabhu has put together. Has all the departments, all the different groups that are functioning here, all phone numbers and emails. If you have any questions, and it's not about, like one time in Atlanta, I put out a suggestion box. Big mistake. Because everything was negative. Yeah, this thing and everything. I was shocked how many negative things went in there. So when you reach out to these devotees, reach out with some positives. Devotees who are running different departments are waiting for you to come forward with some ideas how we can make the temple better, yeah? Like Ramana was working with the temple support committee. So I'm sure he would love to hear some good ideas about how we can make the temple better so they can process it, bring it back, and make some things happen. So think about that. By hearing the glories of the Lord, we get these good ideas how we can serve. And you have a nice structure here. Please support this structure. If you're interested, I said the information is outside. It'll also be on the website. So thank you very much. Again, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. And as I promised, I didn't go past 5:30. Anyone? Who gives you the announcement? Oh, I can't see them. I am limited. I don't have eyes behind my head, right?